there was always like a wish in me to explore what is behind. Let's say I saw something I want to see more and more, and that's where I am right now, still discovering the world. I don't want to spend money on material things that make you happy, like for maybe 1-2 days. With travel, you get like lifetime experiences. You meet other people, other cultures, and it's the best spent money, in my opinion. Financial knowledge is something that everyone should learn, that should be taught at schools, because it's important how you manage your money, your finance. When you have people that want to do the same things as you do, that love travel, that don't see it as a complication, that see it as enjoyment, as something fun to do, and then all travels are good, and we share a lot of stories from those travels. I never thought of it like that you can travel to different countries, that you can go between cities by autostop, by hitchhiking. And then I had a friend who said, well, I'm going on with a bunch of people, we have a race from Zagreb to Istanbul by autostop. And I was like, what? How? No, it's impossible. And then I saw it really works.
Bienvenidos una vez más a este podcast En la mente del viajero. Hoy me acompaña Jakov, él es de Croacia y con él vamos a estar hablando sobre un tipo de viaje diferente. Bueno, primero entender sobre sus viajes, a dónde ha ido, cómo lo ha hecho y también mientras él trabaja full time. Así que bueno, ahora este podcast va a estar grabado en inglés, así que bueno, ahora voy a pasar a inglés y los subtítulos los van a encontrar en YouTube. So, thank you very much, Jakov, for being here.
Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for giving me a chance to speak about my travels.
Thank you. So let's start by getting to know you better, Jakov. So tell us a little bit about you, your full name, and what you do nowadays.
Yeah, I know my surname can be pretty difficult to pronounce for most of the people. So my name is Jakov Zrnčević. I come from Croatia, living in Zagreb, in the capital, but coming originally from the south, from the coast. Maybe some of you have been and visited this part of the world. It's pretty popular lately. I work in IT currently, and I love traveling ever since I've known for myself. So since I was a kid, so it's deeply rooted in me.
Oh, yes. Well, I have been to Croatia, thank you, because I already asked you how, yes, and I really enjoyed it. I was in love with your country when I visited. It's amazing.
Yep.
It has good beaches, people also really kind and good food.
Happy to hear, and you're welcome again to come anytime.
Thank you. Well, and how did you first get into traveling, and what was the spark that started it all?
I think it was when I was a kid. My parents loved to travel. They traveled a lot, and I was going with them as a kid on trips like, I don't know, to Italy. We went to Spain by car. We went to all around Europe. And I loved it when I was a kid to just go around, to be on the move. And then, you grow up, you start studying, and then you want to travel with your friends. And that's how it started easily, like more or less, like that's a period of life, as everyone knows, when you have a lot of time but you don't have money, so you're limited on what your parents give you to travel, and then you can't do that much, even though you have all the time of the world, which you would love to have now, but you don't because you have to work. So yeah, I just continued traveling when I went to study when I was like 18, 19, 20, and so on. And there was always like a wish in me to explore what is behind, and that's where I am right now, still discovering the world.
Sure. And what role did Croatia's geography play in this desire to travel? Because you are near from, almost everything. So how was that?
That's true. Since Croatia is located in Europe and it's very close, like Italy is just across, I don't know, Hungary is not far away. If you want to go to Austria, Germany, all of those places are pretty close. So it was pretty easy to go. You don't need to rely so much on flights. You can easily go by car or by bus or by train or something like that. So this played an important role, that you have a lot of different things to see not so far away from here. So this was also pretty important. As you know, in Europe, there are so many things to see wherever you go. So that's how I started also to go on other in countries around in the Balkans, in Central Europe, in Italy, and so on.
Yes, actually, I follow you via Instagram, and I saw you, just I can go to this place this weekend and to this one another weekend. So I was asking, how do you do that? I have been asking you, okay, what's your secret? Please tell us what's your secret to do this. And then I think it's because you are pretty near from this or to these places, and you can go and just say,
Yes,
yes, I can. It's fantastic. I believe that is really good because here in South America, for example, everything is far away. We
far
need to
away. Yeah,
take we need to take flights to almost everywhere, and it's not that cheap as in Europe.
yeah,
It's not that um
exactly. That's another thing in Europe. We
common.
have low-cost airlines like Ryanair, which for, I don't know, 20, 30, maybe 50 euros, you can fly anywhere you want in Europe. And this also
Yes.
helps a lot that you, for the price that you pay for a flight to some other place in Europe, it's almost the same price as if you take a bus within the country. So
Yes,
this
exactly. I
also
mean,
helps a lot.
I went via airplane to your country, but then I took buses to different cities. Then I went to Hungary, and then I went to Czech Republic and Germany. Everything by bus. That traject. And it was
Hmm.
really interesting because it was cheap, it was easy. We can do that maybe at night to save money if we are in a budget. So it's pretty interesting that you are
Yeah,
really close to these places and you take advantage of it, and you say, okay, I won't choose to stay at home, but instead I can go to this and this place.
yeah, yeah.
So you also told me you've been traveling also with your friends. How it's been like to share these experiences also with your beloved ones.
It's great. Like if you have good travel buddies, somebody who is in the same mindset as you, then you always have a great story when you come back, when you have people that want to do the same things as you do, that love travel, that don't see it as a complication, that see it as enjoyment, as something fun to do. And then all travels are good, and we share a lot of stories from those travels. So like funny things that happen to us. So yeah, it's really
Sure.
a cool thing.
Beautiful, yes. And how have your travels shaped your life and the way you approach challenges nowadays?
Definitely, it's something for me the best spent money. I don't want to spend money on material things that make you happy, like for maybe 1, 2 days. Um, with travel, you get like lifetime experiences. You meet other people, other cultures, and it's the best spent money in my opinion. Like the best experience in the world when you can go see some new country, new landscapes, meet new people, try different foods, see different cultures, see how I always love when I travel to see not only look at touristic sites. I want to see how people live, how they spend their free time. I want to go to, I don't know, the market where they buy things. Like these are kind of things that I enjoy when I go on travels, besides the obvious, of course, to see all the sites that you have to do. So for me, that's like something that I'm always excited when I go on a new travel, even now after so many years of traveling. And it's always like so many memories that you have to sort in your brain after when you come back, but something you remember for life. So well spent money is
Right.
the best investment.
I agree with you. And we have had this conversation before because I have asked about it. And even though you are doing this, investing in these experiences and everything, you also told me that you are investing, in your future as well. I mean, you are conscious about your future and how to invest as well in this
Yes.
in this in this near future. How do you do that? Did you do like a research to know how to managing the impact of finance, right, in travel? Now we have different sources. Now we can work. Now we can access to money in different ways. But how it's been for you, this financial education or knowledge, and how have you used it to travel as well and to invest in you and your future?
I think financial knowledge is something that everyone should learn, that should be taught at schools, because it's basically it's important how you manage your money, your finance. So one thing is also when you travel, it's bad to be stingy, but it's always like there are a lot of hidden costs that you can easily people pay for them, and you can easily avoid them and spend that money on something better, like going to a better, like eat more on a trip, or I don't know, see another thing. Easily you can save up for another trip by not spending money on those, I would call them stupid things that people often don't look at, and they just say, okay, take my money. But it's not like this. Like with a little bit of research, it doesn't take too much time, too much effort to, I don't know, compare the cheapest option maybe and see, like if you travel one day later, maybe your fare will be 20% less. Or I don't know, I used to do when I go to some cities, like to go on those free tours where you just give some tip to the person that,
Mm-hmm.
and I think
Yes,
it's a
because
great way to see
now
something. Yeah.
we can travel in a budget, or with enough savings, but we have different options. And doing some research, we can get that information. Actually, that is a pretty good option when we travel, to do the free tours available on applications such as Get Your Guide or Civitatis, I
Mm-hmm.
believe it is called as well. And you have like these free activities that you can go, and obviously you maybe you can give some tips to the people that do that for free. But it's
Yep.
interesting because we now, it's not an excuse, to not traveling because we don't have money, or we don't have, the resources, because we have options. And this is interesting because that is how you started, right? You start doing this activity, which is called autostop or
Yes.
hitchhiking, right?
Hitchhiking. Yeah.
Um, how was that? How was your experience with this autostop activity?
Well, when I was younger, I thought always like that this is something you can do to go just like, I don't know, a few kilometers when you're somewhere like remote and people pick you up. But I never thought of it like that you can travel to different countries, that you can go between cities by autostop, by hitchhiking. And then I had a friend who said, well, I'm going on with a bunch of people. We have a race from Zagreb to Istanbul by autostop. And I was like, what? How? No, it's impossible. And then I saw it really works. And then I started
How
doing it
old
myself because
how old were you at that time?
I was 23 or 24
Okay,
when I
okay.
started doing it. And
You
then
were grown
I
up.
saw, okay, I don't have money, I want to travel, so let's try my luck, let's go on the road. I was making those signs with city names and going either on the road somewhere, or if you're on the highway, then you go on gas stations and ask people to pick you up. That's even an easier way because they see you're not some kind of maniac, as if you stand on the road, nobody knows. But when you come on a gas station, say, hi, excuse me, I'm doing autostop. Looking for a ride. Can you please take me? And then people generally, of course, it depends country to country, but I
Yes.
did over 20 countries. I don't know exactly how many, like 21 or
Wow.
22 countries that I hitchhiked in, and I never had a bad experience. Plus, there is a kind of Wikipedia for hitchhiking called HitchWiki, where it shows you like for each city where to go, where's the best place to stand, and people share their experience, right? How much they were waiting. You have a whole map with like dots that people put and rate the places, so you know where to go and where to stand. If you go to a city that you don't know, you apparently wouldn't know where to go. So this helps you a lot to know, okay, I need to go to that highway, to that gas station, and it explains to you which public transport maybe to take, the closest to there that you can get. And it always worked. So I did whole Europe by hitchhiking.
Wow. That is incredible. I mean, here in Argentina it is called a dedo in
Yeah.
español. And well, now I will tell you how it is called in Venezuela. You
How?
won't believe it. It's pedir la cola. Pedir la cola. And
Pedir
I
la
know
cola. Okay.
it sounds awful. It sounds awful. Once I didn't know, when I travel abroad, I didn't know how to say it, or I didn't know if that was bad in that country. And I say, oh, me puedes dar la cola to this place. And it was awful. Everyone just stared at me, and I was like, what did he say? Okay, I don't want to use this anymore, because, it has double
Double
meaning.
meaning. Yeah,
And
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
exactly. So, but it's funny. So here in Argentina, actually, I heard about that. Two girls did that in Patagonia, and one friend of mine, she told me that is something that people do in South Argentina, in the Patagonia. So it's pretty
Which makes
interesting.
sense because it's a remote part of the world where you don't have many cities, you don't have probably many
Yes.
connections between them, so people are probably used to doing that. Now, what is the funny thing?
Yes.
I did it so many thousands of kilometers I passed like this, but now myself will now when I travel, let's say in a regular way, now when I see somebody doing it, I pick them up on the road. It's kind of like
Oh,
when you did it,
yes.
you will do it. You will, how to say,
Yes, exactly.
of course, depends on the country. Like Spain is very bad for hitchhiking. People don't stop. Don't trust hitchhikers. But if you go to countries like Netherlands or Poland or Belgium,
Mhm.
very easy. And the easiest for me was in Turkey. There, like people take you home, feed
Yeah.
you, and so on. It happened to me also that I was doing autostop and I ended up at someone's place having lunch just like that. Oh.
Amazing, amazing. And how many countries have you been to uh, these days?
I think I did 36 or 37 countries in total right
36.
now.
Uh, what was the last experience?
Last experience that I was abroad, I went to Georgia and Armenia this spring
Mm,
in May, April, May. I went there with a friend. 2 weeks. Amazing. If you haven't been, I highly recommend those two countries to visit.
I would love to. I would love to. And previously you went to Italy as well, to Naples, right?
Yeah,
You were in
in
there.
January this year, but that's so close here, so I don't see it so much as a travel. It was just a weekend getaway.
Okay.
It's by plane 1 hour from here, so yeah, I wanted to try where pizza was born, and strange enough, I've been to Italy so many times, but this was my first time to Naples, so I love the city. It's beautiful, and the food is amazing, of course. Pizza was born there, and you can try really some amazing pizzas in Napoli.
Great. And getting back to your work nowadays, you told me that you also work in the tech industry. Actually, you work in sales, I believe.
Yes.
And how do you do? I mean, you have this full-time job and also you travel a lot. How do you manage to balance your demanding job with your passion for traveling?
Well, I have enough. It's never enough, I would say, days off a year that we get. It's 20 is the minimum by law here, but we get 24. Plus, the whole summer we don't work Fridays, so that's what our company gives us, like summer happy Fridays. So we work just Monday, Thursday, July, and August. That's anyway the part of the year when I don't travel that much. I mostly spend it on the Croatian coast because I don't see like in summer it's the most expensive, it's the most crowded, and Croatian coast is so beautiful. So there is always something to discover even within my country. And I've been to so many places here, but there is always something new, like new places to see, a lot of islands that you can go to, and like really nice, relaxing and calm
Yes.
places. Plus, I can work remotely, so sometimes if I don't want to take all the time off, I also sometimes work from places I've been to. So you can manage. You have to kind of
Great.
balance it out, but it's possible.
How do you organize with all of these activities that you do? Do you have like tight schedules and everything?
No, I mean, I never do like that. I work the whole time from the place I go to, but sometimes I say, okay, I'm gonna take like, I don't know, 3, 4 days off, and 2 days I'm gonna work remotely from wherever I go. So in this way, you can also spread your days off more equally kind of throughout the year, and it will offer you to travel more when you're not tied to the place where you work, where you can easily work from anywhere that you want, and that's one of the biggest
Great.
benefits that you have at the moment. I think you know this.
Yes.
You did a lot of workation, if I'm not
Yes, yes, I
mistaken.
have. And actually, we met because of it. We met because of our work, not in
Yes.
person yet, but we have known each other for 3 or 4 years, I believe
Three
now.
years, I think.
Three
I think it
years,
was
yes.
2021, something like this. So 3 years. Yeah.
Exactly, 21, I believe. You were a
Yes,
good
21. Oh, thank
salesperson.
you.
You were trying to sell this HR software,
My
and
job.
yes, and then we kept in touch, and see, this is also important, right? How you can create a community or
Yes.
just meet people everywhere, and speaking of, I will also ask you about the languages and the influence in
Okay, yeah,
your travel journey? Because I know that you speak different languages. You are polyglota.
different
I'm a
languages.
polyglot.
Yes.
So how it's
So
been? How did you first become interested in learning multiple languages, and how that influenced your travel experience?
I don't know if I ever got really interested. I mean, I love different languages. It's interesting that we have so many languages on this planet, and some of them are similar, some are like completely different. I mean, my mother tongue is Croatian, of course, so that's what I speak most of the time. English is the second language that I speak, mostly because we learn it at school. Then on TV, you watch movies. We have everything with subtitles in Croatia, so it helps a lot with the vocabulary that you maybe wouldn't learn it at school. Then came high school. I had to choose another second language, another foreign language that I was learning. So I chose Italian. We had Italian or German, and I said, no, Italian looks easier and it's kind of closer to me here. So I started learning Italian in high school. I don't speak it fluently, but enough when I go to Italy that I can find my way around. And when I was last time there, I was speaking just in Italian to them, which I think is also like if you know the language of the country, it opens you more doors than if you just speak in English. Funny enough, I
Yes.
went to do my Erasmus in Spain, so learning Spanish was pretty easy after you know Italian because it's pretty similar. So like the grammar is pretty much
Mm.
similar. A lot of the words are similar. And living in Spain, again, it's not a difficult language to learn. Sí, hablo español, pero es más fácil hacer esta entrevista en inglés. So I learned Spanish there by living just in Spain. And from other languages, I picked up some words, especially when I was doing autostop. I was learned a bit of vocabulary to ask people like, "Can you please take me there? I'm going to that direction." I did 2 months volunteering in Turkey, so we lived in a village where nobody speaks English, so I learned some Turkish as well. And also when I did autostop
Yes.
around Turkey, it helped me a lot with asking people like, do you go this way? I'm going that way. So with English, it's very difficult to go around there. Maybe in Istanbul, you can find your way, but when you go elsewhere, it's not so easy
Yeah.
because not many people speak English.
Yes, you're right. It happened to me as well in there.
Yeah,
Even in Istanbul, it wasn't
yeah,
that
even in Istanbul, yeah.
easy. But it's interesting how you did that. And you also told me once we were talking about this that you when you were a child, you were like watching some telenovelas with your
Yes,
granny.
that's a funny thing. In the 90s, in the 90s in Croatia, Mexican telenovelas were really, really popular. Like everybody was
Mm.
watching Marisol, Esmeralda, and I don't know if you know them, if they ring a bell. And my grandma used to watch them every day, so I would go after school to my grandma, and she was watching those Mexican telenovelas. So as I mentioned, we have subtitles in Croatia, and it was easy to pick up Spanish. So I guess this also
Mhm.
helped me when I went to Spain that I knew. I mean, the vocabulary I learned through telenovela wasn't the most useful that you would use every day, but still, it helped you. It helped me with the language. Yeah, lárgate, fuera de aquí, and so on. These were like the most commonly used phrases in those telenovelas. But everyone in Croatia knows a little bit of Spanish just by because they watched telenovelas when they were kids. So it's a funny thing.
Beautiful. That I love those little stories behind all of this, experience and everything. So, what are the some key lessons or personal growth moments you have experienced through traveling?
That's really a good question. I don't know. There was really a lot of kind of eye-opening experiences, like especially when you're in Europe, like when you're born here and you go like other European countries, when you go to Italy, go to Austria, to Germany, it's all nice, but it's all pretty similar in the end. There are differences, of course, in mentality. But let's say my first, let's say, wow experience was when I was in Turkey those 2 months. And this is like already a different culture. Istanbul is like European city, but when you go more in real Turkey, I would call it more towards the east, then you have like experiences when you see like people actually living in a different way, different culture of living, and the hospitality that I had there, like I've never experienced in any
Mhm.
other country. That was like something like that I didn't know it existed at this point in the world. As I said, I was doing hitchhiking and I ended up at someone's place having lunch, and people are really, really welcoming, really hospitable there, and
Yes.
that's why I love that this country has a special place in my heart.
Oh, I couldn't agree more about it. Also found that in Turkey.
And the
Um,
food is delicious.
yes, it is. Actually, you also gave me some advices when I was in there, so it's interesting.
I
And
think in those 2 months I became an expert on Turkish food, and everything was
wow,
delicious. I loved it
yes,
all.
it is. It is. It is. And now, what advices can you give to people that is planning, to do this or just traveling and they don't know how to do it or how to do it in a budget and everything?
If you doubt whether you want to go or do something in a travel, just open your heart and do it, and you won't regret it. You will regret the things that you haven't done, not the things that you've done most of the time. So if you want to do something, just go for it. If for the budget today, it's really easy to find budget options, especially like with low cost airlines. Also for transcontinental flights, just need to do a bit of research, follow certain pages, or like use engines such as Kiwi or Skyscanner to find like the best fare, because often you can
Mm-hmm.
find flights for find a very good deal also flying between continents. Like of course it won't be 30-40 euros, but you can find for really a good fare, really like a more budget fare. Same is like with searching for accommodation for people that maybe don't have money. There are options such as couch surfing. I don't know if you heard about it. Like it's when, I don't know, you open a profile there and you welcome people at your place, but then when you travel, you can also stay at someone's place. So this is also good. I did this
Mm-hmm.
together with Autostop. Uh, you just
I think
stay
that
at someone's place. Yeah.
you have different applications as well for that. I don't know if Workpacker maybe would be one of it.
Yeah,
Workpacker
BlaBlaCar is
is
good for car sharing, but let's say for
yes,
somebody who's really on a budget, like if you're younger, like do couch surfing. It's a cool thing. You meet
Couchsurf.
people
Yes.
and you just stay at someone's place. And I did it when I was a student. People were coming to my place here in Zagreb, and I would host them,
Mm-hmm.
welcome them. But when I was traveling, I would use this the same and sleep at someone's place. So that's a great thing.
Great.
And yeah, if you look for accommodation, there are so many search engines where you can find the best deals, like on Booking.com or Airbnb, or just like browsing and looking what are
Mm-hmm.
like the more convenient options. You don't need to stay at a five-star hotel. For me, when I travel, I
Yes.
try also not to spend too much on accommodation. What I need just is for it to be clean and to be okay, to be decent, because I'm just gonna sleep there. I'm gonna be all day long out, because when I travel, I don't need to stay at a hotel. I want to be outside and see the new place, and just come in the evening to brush my teeth, take a shower, and sleep. And
Yes.
that's it. What I need from accommodation. So I'm not going for five-star hotels or spas or something, because for me mostly matters that I'm all day long, that I spend it outside and I see as much as I can while I'm in that country, because I don't have all the time of the life to be somewhere. So if you have a week or two, you gotta see everything.
Yes, that's great advice. Thank you. And speaking of your country as well, when is the best time to visit your country and what places would you recommend?
Most people come really in the summer. I mean, all summer is great, but I would recommend May, June, or September would be the best parts of the year to come. Especially September can be really nice because the weather is generally great. Now we got some cold spill, but it should get better next week. But generally, September is still a time of the year where you can easily go to the beach, where the sea temperature is still fine, but it's not as hot outside. There's way less tourists, and you can enjoy also sightseeing. May and June are also nice. Only if you come in a
Mm-hmm.
really high season in summer, can be too much of people, of crowded beaches and so on. But if you go like especially June, May, the sea can be still a bit chilly, maybe just for the brave ones. But in June you can already swim easily, and the days are long.
Yes.
What to see, I don't know where to start from. There are so many places, but
Mm,
definitely you should see the capital, and you should see like a lot of places on the coast, starting from north to south, from Rovinj and Pula all the way down to Dubrovnik. Wherever you go, you're not gonna miss it. And I would recommend going to the islands. Like
beautiful.
they are the best, the best places in Croatia, especially if you're looking for nice beaches. Whoever wants sandy beaches won't really find them here. But that's why you can find one of the clearest waters in the whole world. And I've
Yes.
been to a lot of places, and I can tell you, it's one of the most beautiful coastlines in the world still, in my
Yes, I
opinion. Not
agree.
because I was born here, but now when I've seen a lot, I can say. Before that, for me, it was normal because I was born there. So I thought, okay, that's how the coast
Mhm.
looks like. So yeah, if you need a tip, you can always let me know, write me a message, so I'll give you a recommendation what to do and what to
Thank
see.
you. Well, I would definitely recommend your country. And well, I was there as a solo traveler. And for me, as a female solo traveler, it was really important that I felt really safe in all of the country, all the places that I went. And I went to Sadar, which I fell in love with that place, really peaceful,
Zadar,
not
yeah, yeah,
full, not that a crowd of people, and then I went to Split.
yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
love to split more, like, to hang out and to have fun and to go here and there. And there I took different tours to the islands, to Var or to the Blue Cave, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I went to the waterfalls as well, two of them.
Krka, that's next to my
Karkana?
hometown actually. Krka is next to my hometown, yeah. Yeah,
Yes,
beautiful place also.
yes, it was. And
And this
another
what you
one,
mentioned is
smaller.
really important. Croatia is, I think, one of the safest countries in Europe in terms of like crime levels. So for female
Mhm.
solo travelers, it's a safe place. And there was like a recently some sort of research, where do people feel most comfortable walking at night alone? And Croatia ranked number one by the number of people that answered, I
Yes,
feel
it was.
comfortable, because nothing big really happens. Of course, anything can happen anywhere in the
Yes.
world, but here, like, the odds are pretty low that something would happen. It's a pretty safe place. So
Yes, yes, you can feel it. And the funny thing is, it's not that old, you don't find, you don't get bored being in there. You have different options to go, and if you like to party, you have options, or if you like to just relax, you also have options. For example, in Sadar, in the middle of the night, I went to this piano thing that it was the ocean natural
the sea
thing,
organ,
the
yeah, a
organ,
sea
the sea
organ, yeah.
organ. Yes, that's right. It was a little bit creepy and scary, but not because of the safety, but because of the
Oh, the
unusual of it,
sounds, yeah, yeah,
of the sound of the waves doing the organ sound. So it was mind blowing.
yeah.
But yes,
It's a really cool thing. And what I would also recommend about Croatia is that it's a really small country, but has a lot of diversity from the coast to the mountains. You have beautiful rivers, waterfalls, forests. There is a lot to see in
hmm,
such a small territory. So really, really a lot to
yes,
see in a small
that is
place.
impressive. I see you everywhere, in your country, and I didn't went. Obviously, I didn't know not even half of your country, so I'd love to go back and just find all of those places. Even the capital,
You'd
I
need,
didn't go to the capital, just to
yeah.
take a bus and go to another place, but I didn't have the chance, so I will be back. Hope you
Let
are
me know
there, but
once you'll be back. Yeah.
so where can we find you? What are your social media, so LinkedIn profile, to just follow you and
Yeah, you
reach you
can find
out?
me on Instagram. I don't know if you will, from this video, if you'll share, if you tag me, you can
Yes, yes,
easily,
I will
yeah,
share it.
there will be my profile. So feel free to drop me a message.
Great. Do you have any plan to travel abroad in
Actually,
the near future?
not that I have a plan, I already have tickets booked. Next week, I go to Greece. I go to Corfu. It's an island in Greece, and I go with a few friends. It was a cheap
Nice.
flight from here to Zagreb, from Zagreb to Greece, and in November I have tickets booked for Madeira. It's been long on my list. It's a Portuguese island in the middle of Atlantic Ocean. So that those are my next two trips booked after this. I don't know. Let's see. Follow me, and you will see what happens.
We will. Well, thank you very much, Jacob, for your time and for sharing your experiences and everything. Now we'll switch again to Spanish. Así
Thank you,
que,
Heidi.
bueno, gracias. Gracias a
Gracias a ti,
todos por...
Heidi.
Gracias a todos por escucharnos y bueno, nos vemos en un próximo episodio de En la mente del viajero. Voy a dejar la cuenta de Jakov por allí, así que bueno, nos vemos en la próxima. Chao, chao.
Chao, hasta luego.